5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are part of a revolution. All right, peeps, I'm back. We're back. Marty, you look like shit. Guess what, guys? I feel like shit. I'm sick right now. But I have an important announcement for you guys. This is a public service announcement brought to you by no one. Because despite posting more than one video and getting several dozen views, I don't have any sponsors. It's okay. We're moving on. Today, we're doing a little bit of a lesson and case study on why you don't have to bet every fight and why you don't have to bet every card. A lot of times we get caught up in feeling like we know so much and want to make that extra money that we make bets or try to look into things far more than when we need to. And you know what? Making predictions takes a lot of research. The guys that do it, they take a lot of time and research doing it. Me, on the other hand, I look at a card like the one we have upcoming, UFC Fight Night. I don't even know what they're calling it. But what I do know is that this card is a super rough card. And I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining because $299 and $300 just happened. And sometimes you just got to tap all your resources as much as you can. And there's good stuff coming up. So this is not a complaint video. This is just a tutorial and a case study on my point of view for today, which is don't bet every fight. You might not even want to bet every card. And so with that said, we're going to go through our case study. UFC Fight Night, Nicolau versus Perez. We're going to start with just some simple examples, and I'm going to try to keep it as short and sweet as possible. So just follow me. Pause me right now. Go on to Tapology if you need to. And unpause. Let's go. Starting at the first fight. Maheshate versus Gabriel Benitez. Gabriel Benitez is 23-11. And yet he's fighting a guy with 12 total fights. Okay? And the guy with 12 total fights is a minus 235 favorite. So you're going to take a dude. This is like the thought process, right? If you do decide to bet on this fight, you're going to take a guy with 12 fights and on a 2-fight losing streak over another guy, minus 235 over another guy who showed promise, but is also on a skid. And so, dude, losing skid versus losing skid, and you want to put money on that? No, not a good idea. Next fight, Ivana Petrovic versus Nadgang. Nadgang is a bad fighter. She is not UFC material. Petrovic is, but she's minus 500. So you're going to take someone with 7 fights against someone with 26 fights and then put enough money to make it meaningful for a minus 500 to be like worth your while. I mean, honestly, she's going to win that fight, but you get my point, okay? Minus 500 is a lot of chalk for the second fight on a fight night card. Just saying. Next one, James Lyontop versus Chris Padilla. Like I said before, it takes a lot of time to study these fights. And you go through these two fighters, 14-2 and 13-6, and you're like, who are these guys? And you spend time to watch just to figure out like, oh, Lyontop's probably going to win the fight, but he's minus 450. Dude, don't do that. Don't do that. Go for a card that you're like excited about and then bet on that, because then at least you can do the research, watch the fights, look at the stats, and it's something meaningful, okay? Just that's the point of this whole deal, all right? Dontel Mays, Chao Machado. I skipped one because you know what? Who cares? It's Caitlin Sosa versus Marnik Man, who cares? Okay? Saul says minus 380. You're going to put chalk on minus 380. Go for it. Don't go for it. That's a bad idea. Dontel Mays, the most inconsistent dude with the power punch against a guy who has how many? How many UFC fights? He has 2 UFC fights, one of them Contender Series, and then his first actual fight was a loss. Dude, don't waste your time. Go on to the next one. Just enjoy these fights. They're actually gonna be decent fights. There's a couple on the card that are decent, right? Austin Hubbard, Mikhail Figlak. Dude, who cares? Don't spend your time on that. Ronnie Yaya versus Victor Henry. Victor Henry's gonna win that fight. Victor Henry should win that fight. Let's say that. But he's minus 425. He should. But there's that banana pill that getting people sometimes. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then knee or foot or ankle or, I mean, whatever, earlobe. Anything can happen in there. Minus 425 on Victor Henry. You're gonna chalk that up on a guy who kind of went 1-1 for a minute. Well, he's got a decent record. Still, he should win that fight. Hani Yaya is almost as old as me. Damn. Right? But at the end of the day, do you really want to put the money on that? I'm just saying, dude. Tim Means, the Dirty Bird, against Uros Medic. Medic should win that fight. I'm going to write that one down. Just, The video is about not making bets. But Medic might not be a bad bet. Although, you know what? I wrote that down. Probably not going to do it. Because then I looked, it's the Dirty Bird. It's the Dirty Bird who beats people he shouldn't beat sometimes. And hard to get out there. So, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. Who's next? Jonathan Pierce against David Onama. Dude, it's a pick'em. So, you know what? Pick'em. That's it. Denise versus Austin Lane. Austin Lane's probably going to lose. But what's Denise? Minus 330. Minus 330 on a guy who has 6 fights. You don't have to bet the fights. And look, if you know, like, hey, that guy's going to win. And then he wins, well, like, cool, I knew it. Not like, oh, I should have got that one. You don't have to get them all. You don't have to get them all. No. But Denise is probably going to win that. But he only has 6 fights. Think about it. For me, I'm just going to watch the fights, right? Karine Silva against Ariana Lipski. Karine is probably the favorite. Slight favorite. Minus 160. Actually, decent line. Not that bad of a line. I might write that one down too. I think Silva's ground game is quite a bit better than Lipski's. All right. Ryan Spann against Bogdan Guskov. Right? If you have to say who's that, dude, the fight's tomorrow. If you have to say who's that, just let it go. Watch the fight. Those lines are kind of close, though, and I'm pretty sure Ryan Spann's going to pull through. But pretty sure he should win that fight, right? He should win that fight. Will he? I don't know. Why not, Marty? Because he is one of the most inconsistent fighters out there. Simple as that. On a 2-fight losing skid. Last fight was against Anthony Smith. Another guy. No, I'm not going to spend time trashing people. Because who am I, right? All I'm going to say, though, is Anthony Smith could have turned out better. That's not a put down, I'm just saying. That's actually like a put up, if that's such a thing. Anyways, main event. Your main event is Matheus Nicolau versus Alex Perez. This is the... But I'm not mad. I'm not, because it makes sense. 299 and 300 just happened. If you're not feeling this, then just rewatch one of those. Rewatch 300 from early prelims on, and you're good. They can't all be home runs. They shouldn't. That would get boring. Okay? I'll tell you what. We're spoiled these days. People talk about how bad there's too many fights and this and that. Dude, I used to rent the same freaking UFC from Blockbuster. Yes, I'm not old. Yes, I started that long ago. It could be worse, okay? So maybe this weekend you take the wife out, take the kids out, take the wife and the kids out, take yourself out. I don't know what your situation is. It would be weird if I did. Let's be honest. What I do know, you don't have to bet these fights. You don't have to bet Span, Silva, Petrovich, Henry, and probably Denise. Also probably Medic. I will also say that if you bet Petrovich, Denise, Silva, Span, Henry, it's plus 384 right now. But you know what? That's a 5-leg. In a 5-leg that pays almost 4-1 it's chalk. That's chalk. It's chock full of chalk. I mean, I'll probably put a little something on it still, but you don't have to bet every fight, okay? That's the main point of this. You don't have to bet every fight. And you don't have to research every scrub out there. Sometimes you could take just a few people that you already know and look at some of the data, age, reach, winning streak, losing streak, stuff like that, and then make an educated guess. And then, just put in the numbers and see what it comes out to be, right? That's not a bad return. So I might bet that, but you guys don't have to, okay? That's my whole point. Like and subscribe. More content to come. I wanted to put out a couple things this week, but honestly, I feel like shit. Okay? And it's here. So I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of your family. Don't bet this fight card. But if you do, maybe look at some of the pieces that I mentioned. I don't know. I'm out. Deuce.